Hey, you know what? JB Smooth, sometimes he making y'all money. Sometimes he making sure y'all know about Soroki's with the lunch. He's also looking out for y'all, man, if you're trying to get railed. So, shout out to JB Smooth, Woodward Sports' MVP in the TD booth. You heard it there from him. You can clip him. He don't want to say it.
JB like to get real.
Hey, you know what,
I said that in context.
Hey, you know what? Since he's in the mood, then let's satisfy that like button.
Let's go get real right now.
Let's not waste this.
Hey, y'all know what time it is, man. Hey, the Pistons put belt to ass last night, and you could put finger to button right now by go ahead and smashing that like button real nice and real slow for the Woo crew. Hey, let's get cozy together. It's cold outside, baby. You said my chest on fire, bro.
That's the Pistons. My chest is on fire.
I'm gonna get you another suit in a minute, bro.
The Pistons, burning full of love for the Pistons right now, man. Hey, to the point that the expectations, it was so crazy seeing them lose those games last year, seeing Cade Cunningham at the podium, seeing Monty Williams literally on repeat. It seemed like he was stuck on repeat every press conference, every media availability, versus this year where we get a coach who will step to the podium and punch his team in the face for winning. It just wasn't pretty. It wasn't my standard. And I'm like, you know what? Remember the first day I told you guys, when we got to talk to him, that's a coach's coach, man.
Yeah.
And to be able to see the effect that he's had on this team, we already knew he was going to have a chance to raise the expectations, raise their output over what we thought because of what we.
Those with Robinhood Gold can enjoy a 3% IRA match. Tremendous.
What? It's certainly higher than it was even a month ago, honestly. We're talking about 45 wins as a real possibility. We're talking about getting into the playoffs as potentially a 4 or 5 seed. We even flirted with the idea of home court advantage, although, as Rod said, I think it was probably a little wise to put a little cold water on that. But at the same time, one of the things that you've been seeing from the Pistons lately, which I think really correlates to their success on the season, being 2 games over 500, is you're seeing linear growth and improvement from so many guys. They're giving you so much more than they were at the beginning of the season. We have to start, of course, with Mr. Tobias Harris, who, let's just call a spade, up until these last 8 to 10 games was not really having the year we were expecting from him. He might have been a little bit better than some people like Chase and JB were giving them credit for, but at the same time, they had a leg to stand on. However, in the month of February, Tobias Harris has given you 18 a game on 56% shooting. That's the Tobias Harris that we wanted. That's the Tobias Harris we know and love. Knocking down open mid-range shots, getting to the cup and finishing strong.
I'm so glad, because that was the one thing that I'm sitting here like, man, like I didn't expect athleticism. I didn't even expect some of the defense we're seeing. But when me and KG talked about it, and then we talked about it on the show, I expected at least the shooting splits.
Yeah.
February is more in line with what I thought we would get from Tobias Harris. Yep. It just took us, 3-4 months to get there?
3 or 4 months to get there. And I'm glad that Chuck Brewer's mentioned this. Asar and Duren have both taken huge steps. With Asar, you want to talk about numbers in the month of February for Asar Thompson. I've got him, because of course I do. He's averaging 14, 6, and 4 points, rebounds, assists, with 2 steals on 67% from the floor, and along with the steals, also giving you a stellar defense in all kinds of different ways, basically being able to guard 1 to 4, maybe even 1 to 5 on any given night, depending on who the 5 is. Asar has been lethal in the month of February. He's giving credence to the Wheezy D 313s of the world, who give him credit for his foresight, was saying even back when he was just coming back from his blood clot that no, he is every bit as good as Amin, he's just not getting the usage.
Let's go.
I'll tell you what, these February numbers, they look like Amin Thompson numbers, but more efficient. I'll say that. And Asar Thompson, the reason that he wasn't able to give you anything at the beginning of the year is because he literally has missed 22 games. He missed the beginning of the season due to coming back from his blood clot. So that's absolutely huge. You can definitely see that as a correlation between Asar Thompson being back, Asar Thompson now being in the starting lineup, and the Pistons having a ceiling which is way more than we thought that it was, even, like I said, a month ago.
Yeah, it's the thing. Like, Asar Thompson's leap was the one that I thought we were going to see a little bit more last year, but now I'm realizing the coaching makes so much of a huge difference. Like we didn't know how bad it was going to be coaching wise.
Right.
And so seeing him this year with JB Bickerstaff, you see him being put in positions that we all wanted. Point Asar. When you can go back and re-roll the tapes with the draft coverage. We told you guys I sat here, we told you the sources and what they told us between the two players, and what made me really, really gung-ho about Asar Thompson. And now we're really starting to see those things on display a lot more, that they're putting the ball in his hands and are putting him in a better position to succeed rather than go stand in a corner. Now, those are some of the things that we saw last year. They took the ball out of his hands. They took him out of pick and rolls. But this year, not only do we see guys like Asar Thompson running the pick and roll with Cade, but we see Tim Hardaway doing it, or even Cade step up and set the pick and roll. Like, the offense is so much more dynamic, and it's taking advantage of the fact that you really got a lot of guys between 6'4" and 6'8" who can all pick and roll and who can all handle the rock, who can all facilitate in that situation, who can all pick and pop. All of them can do that. Even Ron Holland and Asar Thompson are raising Ron Holland more than Asar to this point have raised their outside shooting efficiency as well. So it's like everything is working for these guys. And when you look at players like highlighting those three, that's why I say when Ivy went down, Jalen, Duren, and Tobias have it. They just had to give it. And that's why it was so reassuring to hear Jalen Duren say, yeah, I was playing soft. That's the guy that I have never criticized a player like that. It was tough, bro. I've never criticized a player like that, probably ever as a Pistons fan or ever in the media, but it was like, no, bro, you got a whole nother level. And there's still more to his ceiling.
It is.
But him stepping forward, Tobias and Asar has just been amazing.
But like Jalen Duren, I'm so glad you mentioned him. At the beginning of the season, he was averaging like 9 points and 9 rebounds,
Not even a double-double.
and was playing soft defense and wasn't really controlling the paint. In the month of February, he's given you 13 and 11 while not playing soft and while controlling the paint better, while looking more engaged.
The stocks went up.
The stocks go up while running the floor and actually getting fed. And I think that plays a little bit of a role in his engagement on the offensive and defensive end. But still, no matter how you had to get it, I'm just glad that we have it from Jalen Duren, because the Jalen Duren that we're seeing now is miles ahead of what we were seeing at the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
And I think it has played a huge role in getting you a couple of extra wins. If Jalen Duren doesn't improve like he has, the Pistons are under 500 right now. I really believe that. Maybe a game or two, but still, those are the type of games that make a difference in playoffs and play-in, which we all know you don't want to be in the play-in. Because
don't.
if you lose in the play-in, you don't even technically make the playoffs.
And if it's right there for you, it's yours right now, which means, guess what? Your destiny's in your hands, Detroit Pistons. You know what? They know that. They've all continued to say playoffs. And I want to ask them specifically next time I can, because when I asked Duren about his standards, he said playoffs. I want to ask him, does that mean when you first said this from the beginning of the season, play in, or were you guys serious? We are a top 6 team. And if Ashton's yelling that stuff, trust me, there's some confidence that it's getting boosted by with his proximity to that team. These guys believed. They believed last year. They knew last year was more of an indictment on so many other things except for what they actually could have achieved. It's just they didn't put it together from a coaching standpoint. To hear them talk about at Media Day this year and several other times throughout the season how much more easy the information is to understand from J.B. Bickerstaff, how much more easy it is to understand where to be on the court with this new coach is crazy to me. You see these young players right now, from even a Marcus Sasser. Troy was making the picks.
Yeah.
He was making the picks. But even with a Marcus Sasser, an Asar Thompson, Jalen Duren, Jaden Ivey before he went down, Cade Cunningham's maturation. Man, it's a beautiful thing to see right now. This meshing well with Malik Beasley going absolute flamethrower and the other vets giving you some marginal support.
No, it's been nice to see JB Bickerstaff actually embrace these young players. And y'all know what I'm kind of hitting to when I say embrace. You know, the whole Jaden Ivey situation. That shit was kind of ridiculous with Monty. I'm not going to lie. But just ultimately, he's been able to develop the young talent. And that's the biggest difference in this regime versus other ones. He's actually developing the players. Like you said, why do you have Asar Thompson standing in the corner? Like, you're actually going out there and you're playing to some of these players' strengths. And you're seeing the fruits of that labor, even from players like, you know, Asar to Jaden Ivey, like you said, even down to Marcus Sasser. You have seen the improvement throughout the year for each and every one of these guys, man. And it's just been very, very nice to see. And it's been hard, bro, because I came up here and I said I wasn't going to change my expectations, even though the Pistons have been playing great. You know, all this is cool, but I needed to see it first, and I didn't want to change my expectations, because anything past 35 wins to me is an added bonus, because, you know, nobody expected the Pistons team that we are getting this year, just in terms of the fire they play with, the effort they give night in and night out, and really just being in damn near every single game they've played. Like, we can literally count on one hand the amount of times they've been blown out. But with that being said, man, I think I'm starting to change my tune a little bit because I really see the ceiling for this team being a top 5 seed and possibly winning a playoff series.
And that's my thing. After that 30-game mark, that's why I told y'all that top 5 seed to me.
Yeah.
That is where I want the expectation to be. Not that you say, oh, if they don't get it, then you say, what a bad season. You didn't meet the expectation. No, it's just what we see out of this talent. The dysfunction from some of the other teams, how well coached, not just how well coached they are, but the synergy that's between their young players, their young star, their vets, and their coach. That synergy right now is just working. Even when Malik Beasley hit the 3 to go over to take the franchise lead in 3-pointers in a single season, look at his teammates. Stu was running out of court hugging him, and somebody he played ball with since high school, Dennis Schroeder, instantly is like celebrating. My man just got here.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. Schroeder got a chance to talk about it. He's like, man, I'm actually pretty pumped up to be here at his first media availability that he got out of practice. So,
but why? Because they're building up the culture. The culture is changing with the Pistons, much like we saw it with the Lions. Everybody think that word
got to get that credit too.
Yeah, everybody think that word is just thrown around, but when you start with building a culture and giving players a guideline as to what it means to be a Detroit Piston and what it means to play here, that makes everything else easier, man. The X's and O's can always get figured out, but they had to get that losing stink off of them, and they finally got that shit off of them, and you seeing them flourish, bro.
Would you happen to say that they're just playing basketball right now? You know, they're just playing effing basketball.
Pretty much.
It's almost the Todd McClellan way. JB Bigstaff just came in and say, hey, this is the information in a digestible way for you all. This is where to be. And you just see their natural talents taking over. And you know what, Summer? You've been very bullish on these Detroit Pistons all season, man. You were looking at 40-something wins. Talk about this, man. These Detroit Pistons and their expectations for you the rest of the way.
They're playing on another level right now. I still can't get over yesterday's commanding 40-point win. And congratulations to Malik Beasley. I mean, he's been absolutely sensational all season long. And, of course, Cade Cunningham, I mean, he's doing what he does best.
Yep.
He even 4,000 points, 1,000 rebounds, and 1,300 assists.
Whew.
The third fastest player to do that. I mean, just a great all-around player. And overall, this team is just – the energy just seems contagious. Everyone's contributing, and they're just having fun. And to your question, they're not just playing basketball; they're putting on a show.
Hey,
So,
hey, you brought
all I
the
gotta
bars,
say.
right?
Yeah.
Confirmed.
The bars.
I'm just being
That
honest,
is confirmed.
you know.
What about Cavassier Chess? What up, though, brother? These expectations for these Detroit Pistons.
I mean, like 6 seed. I don't think they're going to be a play-in team. I think they're fighting for the 6th seed. I mean, they're definitely going to be playing in the postseason. We're going to see LCA get its first taste of postseason play, whether that be with the Pistons or with possibly the Red Wings as well. But I mean, the team's trending in the right direction. Hopefully, Ivy is going to continue to get healthier, and if there's a chance that maybe we could see him late in the season, or in possibly like that first round playoffs, like that could be the extra spark we need to get us past the Knicks, because like they're easily the easiest team for us to beat in the first round.
You know what? And I'm glad that you said that. I don't know if we even reported this. I did on socials, but I don't know if we ever did on the show. And I had some video as well of Jaden Ivey back at the Pistons Performance Center, walking around. He has his walking boot on, but he was smiling, man. And I know that at that point in time last week, they said he will be reevaluated in another 4 weeks. So there is an opportunity for him to. I know a lot of the guys are probably like, hey, just get healthy first. But if he is healthy and able to play, then that is going to be a definite added boost. That's a good point, Chase.
I mean, if we're talking about them winning a round in the playoffs, you might need a Jaden Ivey. So that gets me pretty fired up as well. And I promise, if you guys oblige, this will be the last time that I do this.
Okay.
One attaboy from JB and one from Chase for the last 8 games. Just one.
JB, you got to give it up.
For the last 8 games, Tobias Harris has been everything you wanted him to be and more.
Come on, because I got a question for Flannel after this too that I want him. Maybe he can oblige. What, Chase?
No,
Chase, go ahead.
I want a better rebounder. Like,
Man,
come on.
A better rebounder. The man is playing 2 ways, bro. What do you want from him? What more do you want from him? A better rebounder.
Dude, 3 rebounds?
What's his career rebounding numbers? What's Tobias Harris' career rebounding numbers?
All right, then you're going to get...
I've been consistent. I've said consistently. I've said like 18 and 7. I said consistently
hate, dog.
6 to 7 rebounds at least. You got to average that, and then I'm happy. That's all I'm asking for. That's not too much.
Come on, dog.
Give Jalen Duren some fucking help.
Bro, I've been critical of Tobias, and even I know that's out of line, bro.
Dude, I've been consistent about it the whole year. I've asked for the same numbers.
So you wanted to have a triple-double every night.
No, I said 18 points and 6 to 7 rebounds. That's all I'm asking for. That's not too much.
But
he's been there with the points. Get your rebounds up.
Here's the thing, though. They're
said,
two
"Get your
games.
weight up."
They're 2 games over 500. If the Pistons were faltering, I would be right there with you. To me right now, and I'm not trying to sun you guys at all. That's not what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to give you guys a bit of a teachable moment, because if you can't give credit, then you turn into the guys with Tobias derangement syndrome. And again, I've said this to you, JB. I'm never telling you to say that you were wrong, that the signing hasn't been a little underwhelming at times. I'm not trying to victory lap because I got off the Tobias train for a while. I'll admit that. Just these last 8 games.
We all have. We was all critical.
I know.
To start the year, we was all critical. But when the man gives you better results, you gotta turn it around. It's the same thing with Jalen Duren. Jalen Duren was playing poorly to begin the year. We all criticized him. He has since then played better, and
because we knew they could too.
Exactly.
You never got told growing up that you don't get credit for doing what you're supposed to do. Like,
get
congrats,
that.
you did your job. Like,
But that's just like it's pretty. It's picky.
You don't get credit for doing what you're supposed to do. How many gold stars do you get for making your bed this morning, KG?
I understand that, but you got to give him credit for going out there and executing. He's doing it, bro. They don't even have Jaden Ivey. They're out there doing it.
Dude, he's paying $26 million. Good. You should be doing at least that.
Hey, I understand, bro. But asking for rebounds out of somebody that's traditionally not a rebounder, I'm good. I'm good.
I just need to shoot and split.
Yeah, just go out there and hit the 3.
Yeah,
that's all
what
I need,
was
bro.
expecting, because I know, like, the way that they do these things, sometimes players fit multiple purposes, including filler. They didn't want to bring in anybody else who might, affect the locker room and those types of things. They wanted guys that wanted to be here. Right now, every player that's here wants to, including Dennis Schroeder. You got to think about it. The deal changed for the Pistons. That means that somebody behind the scenes had to call up and say, "Hey, bro, do you really want to be here?"
Right.
That's what they had to do. Just so people
we know
real stuff.
That's the part that's being slept on about that is the guys in that locker room absolutely love Tobias Harris and what he's brought from a leadership standpoint. And I know that's not what we all want to hear, because let's be real. Nobody was really excited about Tobias Harris being a Piston.
It wasn't.
It was one of our only options in the offseason, and we went ahead and we did the damn thing. But for what he's brought from a leadership standpoint, Sam, you one of them people. You don't value locker room shit.
I was excited about Tobias Harris. I was.
Okay.
I was excited about Tobias
Harris.
Harris.
With the signing, but I wanted that star. But
everybody
Cade decided
more.
I'm just going to be 2 stars in 1.
But overall, Tobias is giving you enough. Am I saying he's been the best free agent the Pistons have ever brought in? No. But he's done enough to this point to warrant, this was a good
remember
deal.
Last year remember that year when they got Joe Harris for the $20 million?
Yeah.
People keep thinking, oh man, that's the splash they wanted to. It wasn't supposed to be a splash, but sometimes with a rebuilding team, before you go and you sink that much money into a long-term contract for a player, you sometimes get those cap fillers so that they can either do one of 2 things. Either they're just taking up the cap so you reach the floor minimum and you don't get penalized, and then they also either will not block or will help your star and your young players in development. And with Tobias Harris, he's serving multiple of those purposes. That $26 million becomes next year, at the end of this season, becomes one of the most interesting assets in all of the NBA. It just does. He can still help a contender. You drop Tobias's usage, you're going to see his percentages go back up. And so that 1-year expiring contract, if they decided they wanted to trade, becomes very, very interesting for a rebuilding team. They can get draft picks off of that.
They could.
So it's like, this is very strategic. And is it hurting them, or are they exceeding expectations? And that's why I'm like, you know what? Good on Tobias. I was just hoping to get the number, the shooting. Obviously, you want more, but I know all of our first options initially was like, go out there and get a gunner. But or at least mine was. I wanted them to go out there and get that star next to Cade. But a lot of these other players have stepped forward in a way that's just like, you know what? And in this one, I'm glad that they chose. I'm glad that Trajan chose, despite any of the narrative from any of us, us, chat family, other content creators, media, to say, you know what? We value the chemistry that we have going on in this room right now. We value what it's doing for these young players and for this team to help exceed expectations. So instead of looking at what they haven't done right, they've looked at, they've all stepped up and we've seen it bolster now this team going forward. And just one quick thing. I see you in the chat, Weezy313. He says, thank you, Coach Casey. Dwayne Casey has been one of those instrumental figures in the background because at the press conference when they were announcing that he was going to the front office, you heard all the players say things like, man, he was our guy. Like I could depend on him for everything. Like, they were young players. They're like, yo, he was teaching us almost like a pops. One of the guys said, like, how to dress, how to be, how to walk, how to prepare, in this NBA. And when that went away for a lot of these guys after just 1 year, for Cade after 2 years, they brought in Monty, a player who we know the development and the nurturing and the I'm your homie, I'm your coach. That went away for these guys. But Dwayne Casey was still in the background, and we saw him out at some of these games still being active with these players. And now you see him still with the organization, vice president of business operations, having an impact in the community and still with these players as well, still able to be a mentor for them. So shout out to Coach Casey, man.
Yeah, big shout out.
Shout out to Coach Casey. And I want to circle back to Chase and JB at one point before the end of the show. Not now though, because
let's just take a quick one and come back to it.
Yeah. Well, actually, I think there's someone else we need to give a few more flowers to.
Ooh.
And you know what? Let's do that after the break.
Let's rock. Hey, I think we got to hear from Lady Jane's, and I'll tell you guys about that. Why? Because at Lady Jane's, we take the chore out of getting. Hey, and we are back. And I know Flannel teased something. I'm gonna get to that really quickly. I just wanted to show the people the All-Star bracket. Do you have that, JB Smooth? I sent it to the Wake Up Woodward. Let's show the people that the All-Star bracket and how it lays out for All-Star weekend. Again, I am amped, man. Gonna have boots on the ground there. Shout out to the NBA for allowing Woodward Sports to have this opportunity, and shout out to the Detroit Pistons as well for taking a chance on little old Woodward Sports some years back, and we've continued to grow that relationship. But as you guys see there, it is a bracket style this year. Each team first to 40 points is the one that wins and moves on, and the way that it lines up, you see Cade Cunningham is in Kenny's Young Stars. That's the one that I believe has the defense on their side, but they're going to face an uphill battle in that first game. They face off against Shea, Nikola Jokic, Donovan Mitchell, Wemby, Cat, Trae Young. That's going to be a tough one, man.
You got Shea and Jokic on the same team.
Yeah, that's going to be one.
Well, that's not fair. That's all right.
But look, Cade got Jalen Brunson, Anthony Edwards, Darius Garland. Man, this is going to be tough for them. Tyler Herro, Jaren Jackson, Evan Mobley, and Jalen Williams.
I mean, that's kind of like the B team of all-star teams. I'll just say that. No disrespect. If you're an all-star, congratulations. If we're gonna glaze Cade for making it, I'm not gonna discount anyone else for making it. But there's levels to it, like Jokic and SGA, and we get Jalen Williams and Tyler Herro. Damn good players.
You know what it sets up for, though, right? It sets up for All-Star Cade.
Oh, there we go.
Remember
they win.
Remember the Rising Stars?
Yeah.
And he was on the stage, and he's looking at everybody else. He's like, you know what?
At Grainger, we're for the ones who pay attention to every little detail. The ones who fuss, tinker, and sweat the small.
It'd be interesting because when I look at this is going to be one where you're going to have to get special efforts from that triumvirate at the top. And obviously Darius Garland, you can't leave him out. But those first four guards is where one or two of those guys are going to have to go absolutely off. And I think Cade Cunningham is primed for it.
Oh, man, that would give us a lot to talk about on Monday. I cannot wait for that. But I think we need to acknowledge Malik Beasley even more than we already have. And no disrespect to you guys. We've talked about him, and I can include myself in this, that it's probably taken too long to get to him. But Malik Beasley, I'm just going to flat out say it. I've said at times before the year that he was in contention for Sixth Man of the Year, but he probably won't get it. Malik Beasley, if he keeps this up, should win NBA Sixth Man of the Year. No question about it. For what he's done, giving you 17 a game, on breaking the Pistons' single-season three-point shots made record with 28 games left in the season, 42% on extremely high volume, has the second most three-pointers made in the whole bleeping NBA. That's facts. Malik Beasley, we've given him his flowers. I just wanted to put that all out there that Malik Beasley should win Sixth Man of the Year. No disrespect to Peyton Pritchard. He's had a damn good season, but I think Malik Beasley means more to the Pistons than Peyton Pritchard means to the Celtics off the bench.
I was crazy when I said that. I was crazy.
No, that's a bar,
You know what,
man.
KG? Let the flowers rain over you.
Yeah.
Seriously.
And here's my question for Flannel. Should Malik Beasley be starting? I'm just playing.
No, he needs to rebound more, though.
I love the Woo Crew.
Crash the fucking boards, man. What are we talking about?
This is amazing. And then I see Dante151 on all caps. Give Beasley his money. Dang. Yes, he will get it. The new CBA rules disallow the Detroit Pistons from being able to offer him a contract extension right now. But if you have been following along with Malik Beasley, who does not care to put any of his business out there, he's been like, oh no, it's already done. We just got to basically hammer out the details. And this is similar language to what we heard from Cade Cunningham. At the end of the season, people were wondering, is he going to sign the deal? Is he not? At the exit interviews, he was like, what? I've been thinking about this deal I know I should be thinking about the losses. No disrespect to that. But Cade was like, bro, I've been thinking about getting this deal done for a minute. I want to win here. Malik Beasley has said the same thing, and it's a special thing to see because we've heard for so long that players don't want to be here. I heard for so long that even if y'all get a number one or a top pick, y'all wouldn't be able to keep LeBron James, y'all wouldn't be able to keep Dwayne Wade or this person or that person. But our guy just signed his extension. Malik Beasley and these guys, Tim Hardaway, they wanted to be here. They want to stay here. They want to win here. And I don't care if people think, well, those aren't the premier free agents. You know what? Tell that to Malik Beasley this year and the rest of the NBA, because everybody right now is catching threes to the face. Everybody right now. And I love what he's been able to do as a vet and being able to bring that swag. He just doesn't care. It's like Malik Beasley doesn't care about the hierarchy. And I believe that is infectious. JB Bickerstaff doesn't care about the hierarchy. He doesn't care about, well, that team's supposed to be better than us. And I think that allows a guy like Malik Beasley, Cade Cunningham, JB Bickerstaff and his team to have this type of success that we're seeing right now.
And what's so great about it, too, is obviously I gave you all of the numbers, which hearing that Malik Beasley's second in the NBA in 3 points made is just insane. It makes sense when you look at his numbers and when you watch him, but it's still, I think, like...
He was leading the league at one point.
It's incredible, though, to really take that in. It's also, with Malik Beasley... Because I remember, and I'll go back to one of my darkest days on the network when I was not happy about the Ron Holland draft pick. And I've kind of mentioned this before. I was a little perturbed. I didn't realize that Trajan Langdon, and to be fair, I'd been burned by the previous regime. I didn't know if they would if they really valued shooting at all, or if they would get somebody like a Malik Beasley in the offseason. And I was thrilled with the signing. But with Malik Beasley, if he even gave you what he gave you last year, if he was just another Tim Hardaway Jr. clone, where would this team be? It's the fact that Malik Beasley has been a star off the bench.
Yeah.
That's what's been so incredible, and I think his three-point shooting, his floor spacing, which we don't even talk about anymore because we actually have it. How has that freed up Asar to play his game and not really even have a jump shot or a three-point shot, make him so valuable?
And guess what you just said? You said, how does it free up his game from the aspect of not having to worry about outside shooting? But when you have a Beasley, you can also ask, how does that free up the court for the type of player that Asar is?
Yes. Yep.
We're seeing Asar run down wide open lanes. Mm-hmm. And players are just able, think about some of Cade's assists last night. There were literally bounce passes to wide open Asar Thompson for a dunk. Why? Because are you going to leave Malik Beasley? You not even consider. Not. Do you leave Ron Holland? Because if you leave Ron Holland and he can hit the three at a decent clip now. But you know what else we see? He'll get downhill on you as well. Yeah. He doesn't care. He has this unique ability that when as soon as the ball touches his hands, he's just literally, it seems like he's already dribbling the ball into the lane to try and draw a foul or get to the rack. And so it's like when you have the type of shooting that they have this year, and what are you going to do, leave Cade? It's like pick your poison. Are you going to focus on Asar? Usually they don't, because he's not going to be the focal point of the offense. And so when Cade's in there, his ability to cut, and this is why I can't wait for Jaden Ivey to be back, because Cade and Ivey had this type of rhythm as well. Yeah. Cade was catching off-ball threes from Ivy. Point shooters are holding people honest this year.
That's what's so crazy, is because when I've gone to the games, I see it even more up close. When I watch them, I obviously see it too. How many more easy looks the Pistons get this year?
Yes.
How many more Cade is able to create for an Asar Thompson or a Jalen Duren, at least recently, Tobias Harris, Chase and JB's favorite player. But in all seriousness, it really does speak to the fact that there is floor spacing. You've got yourself, the Detroit Pistons, an elite three-point shooter. This year, if you were to just isolate this season, in terms of a three-point shooter who needs somebody to create for him, he's the best in the league right now. Seriously. Just as that off-ball three-point shooter, he's the best in the league right now.
Absolutely. And you know what? DJ Justice in the chat. Let's add on to what Flannel started here. I agree with this 100%. Cade for most improved player, Beasley for sixth man, JB for coach of the year.
Yeah.
And Cade should make an all-NBA team.
Yes.
Period. Just period, as is.
Told you.
If they do climb into, you talking about securing home court advantage for a playoff series, he should definitely be one of those guys that gets MVP conversation. Look at the previous years of MVP conversations and look at some of the players that they've talked about, like Apollo Banchero and such. Some young players already in his vicinity. Even a Scotty Barnes to a degree. There was at some points in the season where like, oh, could he have this because of his effect overall? It's like, no. And none of these guys are better. Even Evan Mobley sometimes gets that type of chatter. I do believe that if you find the Pistons in that top 4 range, you do also add to the rest of the awards I think they're going to sweep. You add to that some MVP, at least chatter.
Yeah, honestly, and there's a segment that I
Like
want to
top
do
10.
that I want to do tomorrow, and we're going to talk about it after the show. I'll just say this. When you look around the rest of the NBA, Cade Cunningham is higher in the MVP discussion, or should be, than you even know.
Yep.
There's obviously a couple of guys who are, I think one in particular is running away with it. I think you all know who that is. But Cade Cunningham is higher up than you guys even think. And if you guys have been really paying attention, you'll understand exactly what I'm saying. And I want to really crystallize that tomorrow for you guys. So how's that for a tease? We got a fun Cade Cunningham segment coming tomorrow.
More Pistons, more TPB, huh?
Yeah. Talk Pistons, bitch.
Talk to me about Cade Cunningham real quick. Summertime.
A star, literally an all-star. Like, the numbers don't lie. I mean, every game he comes out, plays his game, and has just became the leader for this group, and he just makes everyone better. And it's just great to see him be selected as an all-star, and I'm excited to see what he's going to showcase this weekend.
I am too.
I know.
I am too, because I remember we talked to Beasley, and he said, yeah, I got a call, but the all-stars, they, for the three-point contest, they get an opportunity to decide. When I heard Cade's name, and I know that he's shooting the three ball decently, my mind just instantly went to something that I don't think that they're going to ever release publicly. I'm going to ask him, but I think Beasley was like, you know what, Cade? Just get all of your shine. And if he did that, please, lifetime deal from Malik Beasley. Oh my gosh. Like, I know he deserves to be there, but to give Cade that stage during his ascension, yeah.
Yeah, I
that's
mean,
real.
And if there's one thing that I will say is that if you look at the numbers, and I'm the biggest Cade, like we're all huge Cade guys here. He probably shouldn't be in the 3-point contest, but that's okay. Right. I'm gonna love seeing him on all of the biggest stages because Cade Cunningham, he's definitely not one of the best 3-point shooters in the NBA, and he's certainly not the best on his team. But Kool-Aid, that might be. I know it's a theory, but. I kind of like. I mean, if Malik Beasley actually did that,
if he didn't confirm to us that he was asked, but the All Stars get first dibs.
Yeah,
I know. I just from just what I know, Cade ain't the guy that's like, yeah, let me snatch that. That's just not him. From everything that I know, and so that's why I'm just like, you know what? And what I've realized, you talk to the players, they want Cade to get his shine. Tim Hardaway was in the press conference. Like, wait, what? Somebody say, yeah, I know he's one of the best guards, and he's top guard in the East. Top. Thank you. Not for real. Amari was like, there we go. Well, you said it. And that's, you see the guys and you hear them say, no, Cade deserves his. He don't go out there and talk about his. Even Rod and I talk about the fact that sometimes it's almost like, hey, we know you go out there and score 40 while you're probing and searching and looking. Well, why? We see it right now. And these guys love playing around Cade Cunningham. So this is going to be a big honor for him. But take care of business. BTA these Bulls.
Watch he fuck around and win it.
See,
y'all keep playing. Cade might fuck around and win the 3-point.
I don't understand, and this. I know you were just kind of like saying it in passing. I don't understand anybody who wants to encourage a young and up and coming star. Just go out and get 40. History shows that every superstar, every finals MVP type player, like the LeBrons and the MJs and the Magics and the Birds and like Isaiah Thomas,
MVP
however,
finals. Whatever
kind of player that you are, even big men like Kareem and Shaq and all of them, they know how to use their teammates. You can't like that's one of. That is, with guys like Jordan, with guys like LeBron, that is probably one of their most important steps in their evolutions as players, being able to use their teammates and get the absolute best out of them. That's when you win, not when you're playing hero ball. Kobe, too.
And what did the Pistons, what was the word that they used when they drafted Cade, and it's come true? Connector.
Yeah.
That's it. And we see it on full display here, man. Hey, goodness gracious. I don't know if we talked this much Pistons in a long time. And
This is the day to do it. They beat the Bulls by 40.
Smacked them, and they look good doing it. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, what happened in between? You know, we see certain things. Like, what happened in between? These players, they're taking it serious. And when you see them start, you know, that's when it's like, yo, shout out to Kathy. But shout out to the Pistons.
What's trending? We definitely have
Mark yesterday.
let's say experts.